Well, hello, David. Nice to
Hi.
meet you in person, I guess you could say.
Yeah, I like the hat. It matches the,
I
the
have
book
that
that I
book.
did.
Matter of fact, I have three of them.
Three?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
gave one to
gosh.
my daughter,
Uh-huh.
and actually, I sold one to Mr. I guess you know that book.
Oh, hold it up higher. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Hmm.
sold him one,
Okay.
but
Man, look at you. See, now this is what I like. I like I like when there's been a couple of Zooms where people don't have like there's a few people who are ready with their Beach Boys stuff around them. And I kind of like that because it gives me an opportunity to appreciate the things that, other fans have. I can already spot quite a few things. I love. So is that a Sail On poster up above your left shoulder, up near the Samuel Adams uh, thing?
yeah, that's a sell on sailor that I got off
Okay,
Beach Boy
very cool. I
Amazon.
love that.
Yeah.
I saw that. It looks great up there. Oh, hey, it looks like so one of the so one of the things the VIP thing is we have special guests. We have surprise special guests, and guess what? We
Cool.
have one joining us now. Okay, we would have been talking already for a little bit, but that's okay. So we're going to be talking, I guess, a little bit about this issue of ESQ, and
I
maybe
got it
we.
right there.
All right. Wow, what a pleasure. So, Tom Maddox, please meet Malcolm Leo,
Well, hello, Mark.
director, producer, and writer of An American Band.
Hello, Tom.
Wow.
Hello, David.
Hey, Malcolm.
Come on, give me some volume here. All
Can you
right.
see me?
Can you all hear me?
Yeah, sure can. Tom, can you hear
Yes,
me?
I can hear you.
Yeah. So this is Malcolm's first. I've had other people join as special guests, and we've had the pleasure and honor now and privilege of having Malcolm join us. And we were just Malcolm. We had a little bit of technical difficulty connecting, so Tom and I have only been on for just a few minutes.
All right.
But
Well, shall I go in the other room?
no, no, no. Is that my cue to leave? No. So we were just holding this up. He's got his copy with him, and I was just holding this up, and so this is a perfect opportunity for me to ask you, Tom, what you enjoyed about the fall 2023 edition of Endless Summer Quarterly, and what you may have learned from the interview that we presented that I did with Malcolm.
I love cover to cover. I read it all. You know, I'm a hardcore Beach Boy fan. You can ask my wife. I've been doing it since the early '70s, and actually, my first Beach Boy album was 1966 Greatest Hits, and it belonged to my sister. And but I keep stealing it, so she finally gave it to me. And my favorite song was Louie Louie.
Oh my gosh.
So it's, but anyway, I really look forward to every issue, and I read it, and I don't know, I like it all.
Yeah.
There's here's my endless summer
Whoa.
collection.
Well, that's all the magazines. So
Yeah, it's
Malcolm, he's been subscribing for several years now. So
yeah,
this is if you can see over here, just these boxes. So this top row, this row, and then this row are all the ESQs I've done for 30 years now. That's 30 years of ESQ.
Where is Tom from?
I am from Splendora, Texas, which is north of Houston.
Are you near the water, Tom?
No, well, we're close to Lake Conroe and Lake Livingston, but as for Galveston, it's about 100 miles away.
I see.
But yeah, but I don't need the ocean for the Beach Boys. I got them right here in this room. As you probably could see, I have a very
Oh my gosh, look at that poster from the 70s. Wow. That's pretty cool.
This poster here, which I can get to it here. I don't know if you remember that one.
Whoa. Yeah. Look at that poster. Yeah, that's a fairly recent one. Yeah. Yeah.
I had the guys sign that last year.
No kidding.
Yeah, I've all signed it except for John.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keith said this was too busy, but they
Oh,
all signed it. I don't know if you could see it, but
yeah.
and
Very nice.
the big one was Jeffrey signed it because
Oh,
he was a
Pascal.
special guest.
Oh, how nice.
Special guest there that night.
Yeah, that's nice that Jeffrey still comes out and joins them from time to time when they're in his area.
Is that
Yeah.
Jeff Foscat?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Terrific.
was there. He had his whole family in the front row. He had his grandkid out there with him. And it was cool. Matter of fact, that was last year, October the 2nd.
Very good. Yeah, he lives in Houston, Malcolm. Jeffrey does.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So, Tom, did you end up? I was just sorry, Malcolm. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say I was introduced to Jeff's work by the head researcher and wonderful rock archivist, Ron Furmanek, who's mentioned in the interview. And Ron and Jeff knew each other well. Tom, you became a fan in the 70s. Guys like me and Ron Furmanek go back to spring of 63, practically, when they first broke. In fact, a dear friend of mine went to see the Beach Boys in 1963 at the Hollywood Bowl for something called YMCA Day. So, it's interesting to see the geographic interest. You're in Texas. You got to imagine what it was like if you were growing up in Southern California and suddenly you had the ocean, you had the Beach Boys, you had the girls, you had the hot rods, you had school, and you had a car to get around in.
Malcolm,
I've been there.
Malcolm, I've got to ask you because the dorky collector geek in me radar is going off behind you. It looks like you have a jukebox.
I do have a jukebox. It's a Seaberg 200. It is known as the jukebox that killed the Wurlitzer.
Oh,
It's got 200 selections.
oh my God.
I have some favorites in there, including the Boys, a lot of Dylan, a lot of the Beatles, of course, and a lot of what I call one-hit wonders. For example, "Dear Lady Twist," an old great song by Gary U.S. Bonds, and
Yeah, sure.
to name one of many. So yeah, and we have a wonderful view of. We live up here in the hills, so on a clear day you can actually see the ocean.
Oh, how nice!
Oh.
Wow. So, Tom, did you end up? I'm curious because of other Zooms that I've done. We've talked about this issue, and a lot of people have told me, a lot of the readers have told me they went back and watched the Malcolm's documentary again, just since they read the interview. I was curious if you had done that recently. Maybe not because of the issue, if you'd watched it.
Not yet.
Okay.
I hadn't watched it, but I watched one if you was with Gibbons, the guy that done the coloring book.
Oh, Giggins.
Yeah.
Giggins.
And you were talking about Rock and Roll to the Rescue,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to go back and watch it again. I did
Okay.
that a couple of times today.
Malcolm was there. I felt that just during a really critical time in the group's career, because they were just kind of, he was working on that documentary just as they were making a resurgence again for the third time, because this was post Dennis. And, I just think it's a critical time. For me, it was a critical time as a fan because I discovered them late 70s, 80 from my youth minister in church. So I was just getting into like Keeping the Summer Alive album. So when Malcolm's documentary came along, it just was life-changing for me.
Well, thank you for that. I think my film preceded your first issue, didn't
It
it?
did, and
Mm,
that's
mm.
great because I've been telling anybody who's a subscriber that they should actually read this one first and then read this one. If I had the content that I had for this one, I would have put this one out first and then followed it with this one.
Mm.
It didn't work out that way, but they still work great together.
Yeah, no, several of the people that are credited in the film actually have read it. And we're quite pleased with the way I articulated some of the more interesting stories of the film. They they obviously, of course, wanted to know more about some of the hectic moments when we were, up a creek without a paddle. That would happen to be where was it? That was in Boulder when the great cameraman John Toll, who won an Academy Award for Braveheart, but the 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 camera jammed and the spare was at the wrong speed, and somehow he managed to fix it, and it was like, thank God for that. But we were caught in a bind on that day up in Boulder.
Wow, yeah, just another. And I'm sure Carl was just as patient
Mellow,
and calm as
mellow
could be.
car, mellow car. In fact, he'd say, Malcolm, don't worry about it. Just relax.
Yeah, Malcolm, those photos I just thought were just such an important component to what we presented to the readers, you know. And you and I have talked about this a little bit since you got the issue, just the way that everything kind of fell together and placing the images with the part of the interview where you were talking about, whether it be Carl or Al or Mike, just all the photos you sent were just so important to the story that we told. So thank you for that.
My pleasure. In fact, one thing I didn't uh, include, but it was implied. I happen to go, I'm a graduate of University of California, Santa Barbara. So when we filmed Mike at, at La Playa Stadium, and I think the segue was into some of the student activity and demonstrations. Afterwards, I went up to the campus and I was driving around, and one of the campus policemen remembered me, and he said, "What are you doing here, Leo?" And it was very funny. I said, I'm filming one of the Beach Boys down at La Playa Stadium. And he looked at me like I was nuts, but it was fun. So I reconnected with those days. In fact, everybody in the dorms, I was in Anacapa Hall, for those who remember, and everybody in that dorm had a surfboard in their room as well. So it was very cool. Because there was a little place called Campus Beach. You could wake up, go to the Commons, have breakfast, and just walk right down to the beach and catch a few waves.
Wow.
But
so that's living.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Tom, would you like to ask Malcolm anything about the documentary that maybe we didn't get to or touch on in the interview?
Well, I like to watch it. It's probably, I know I've seen it before, but it's been a long time. But I really need to look at it again. And maybe I can get a hold of him somehow and tell him my thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, I was actually on the phone with Malcolm earlier, and one of the things that I forgot to ask him, we were talking about this on the phone, that I forgot to mention, I thought of it after the fact, was what a brilliant job Malcolm and his team did with the pet sounds portion of the documentary. Because anywhere it was after the interview and I published the magazine and everything, it occurred to me, any other documentary, whether it's about Brian or the Beach Boys, whenever pet sounds is mentioned, you have the standard handful of songs that are played with it, which is Wouldn't It Be Nice, God Only Knows, Sloop John B, maybe I Just Wasn't Made for These Times, or maybe Caroline Now. But never Here Today. Never. Except in Malcolm's An American Band documentary. And And I was telling him earlier that just the way they cued Bruce walking up the stairs, and he says, he's talking about the pants were too small. He was wearing Al's pants, and he said, Brian took a giant leap forward. The album Pet Sounds, and the way that it goes bum, 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 it was just so, now
Well,
looking back at it, it was just significant, another significant part of my fandom.
well, it's interesting. The slam cut, which is my nickname for it. When I worked with Jack Haley on Life Goes to the Movies, we always wanted to have those moments which, when the viewer sees the edit, it sort of sparks a higher interest, especially with the music behind it. So you have the combination of an intro, and the way I wrote it was I wanted him to nail it twice. He refers to this incredible album, and then when he does the final denouement, the album Pet Sounds, I jacked up that cue to the point where I wanted, to go to the highest point of sound level before it would break up. And Here Today and That's Not Me, which were featured in the Pet Sounds segment of Beach Boys and American Band, are two of my favorite Brian Wilson compositions. In fact, I got into some of Brian's earlier work, like Please Let Me Wonder, and a particular tune called Let 'Em Run Wild, which I thought I knew were the departure points for Brian to sort of leave the home of the surf, beach, and cars and go into more compositional stuff that was personal to him. So, Tom, tell us, have you ever been surfing?
Great question.
Yes. Yeah, I have. Of course, Galveston's a bad place to surf. You have to go down towards Corpus. But yeah, I've been surfing before. I did it when I was a kid, especially.
How'd you do?
Jumped on board and went out there and got wiped out 90% of the time.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect.
But I did it. It was fun. We used to go to Galveston probably every other weekend back in when I was a kid, because my sister was, she was a beach nut, and that's one reason she bought the Beach Boys albums. So my whole family are Beach Boy fans. My kids are. We go to all their concerts, and so far they hadn't came here yet. But I'm hoping for a Christmas show, hopefully. But I'm waiting for them. Can't wait. I'm talking about, yeah. But one thing I can say, last year I got to see all the Beach Boys. I saw Brian and Al at the Woodlands. I seen Al Jardine in Tomball, Texas, of all places. And then a month later, I seen Mike and Bruce. Mm-hmm. And of course, Blondie included. And I got to meet Matt and Bobby and his band, the band, and that was nice. Met Keith in person for the first time. Mm-hmm. That was neat. And I got him to get them to sign that 8x10. I just asked him, would you do it for me? He said, sure, we'll give it a shot.
Oh, yeah. Hey, those guys are great. They're all super
And then
fun.
he comes back and says, well, John's the only one who wouldn't sign it. I said, okay, that's cool. It's no problem.
Tom, I wanted to let you know your screen is frozen.
Oh, don't tell me that. I wouldn't know how to fix it.
Maybe it could be like the Fonz, Arthur Fonzarelli, just bam, maybe that'll fix it. But so Tom, what do you remember your Malcolm, of course, has us both beat because he was around back in California in '63. But what do you remember your first song that you heard by the Beach Boys, making an impression on you that kind of stuck?
Well, back in the '60s, I listened to top 40, AM radio. I mean, I liked everybody you can think of, Peter Noon, Herman's Hermit, and the Kinks and the Stones. Of course, the Beatles were my top group back in the day, but it got to the point where I couldn't afford them no more. So the song Louie Louie has really stuck to me for some reason. Like I said, I kept stealing the album from my sister. Just she finally gave it to me. I think she gave it to me. I don't know.
Okay.
You know,
Malcolm.
Tom, just historically, the first Louie Louie, which was written by Richard Berry, L.A. rhythm and blues singer, and was a huge hit in the late
Yeah,
50s around Los Angeles. Richard Berry and the Pharaohs. It was on an obscure local label. Then it was covered again by the Kingsmen. You
yeah.
know,
Hmm.
that was what we used to dance to in college. And then I have to admit, I have never heard the Beach Boys version of Louie Louie.
It,
So
it's really interesting, Malcolm. They took both versions and kind of combined them.
yeah,
It's really interesting. They took the energy of the latter version by the Kingsmen, but they added the do 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 do. They did it differently, and so they went kind of back to the original version and kind of then combined them. It's pretty it's fun. I'll send it to you. I'll be sure and send it to you.
yeah. It's interesting. Richard Berry, they re-released Louie Louie, and I bought it as a 45. It's probably in my jukebox back there. But on the other side is a killer tune that Richard did called "Have Love Will Travel," and it's a great R&B. Again, very popular in Los Angeles. So I felt like I got a little bonus with that one. But Louie Louie also had an incarnation by the USC band where they would do Louie Louie at halftime with a 100-piece band marching and playing Louie Louie in between halves of a football game. And it's just a wonderful tune, as Tom probably knows, because it's so infectious, you know.
Mhm.
And that applies to a lot of the Beach Boy tunes. You know, for example, "Don't Worry, Baby," and one of my particular favorites. I guess I just wasn't made for these times, but the number of singles, both sides, throughout the mid and late '60s were just bloody ridiculous. You got a rocker and a ballad at the same time when they released those
Thanks,
capital.
Robin.
You're welcome, dear.
Yeah. Yeah, there were so many. Then now, Malcolm, you obviously know so many more than I do. But the two that come to mind that were so, for me, that were such significant markers years later, because I was born in '65, were the Beach Boys, "Wouldn't It Be Nice," backed with "God Only Knows,"
Oh
and
yeah,
and the Beatles, "Penny Lane," backed with "Strawberry Fields Forever." That you could have a single with basically four number one hits.
yeah.
It's just
Well, I get around sort of redefined uh, the direction they were taking, and in fact, uh, when I was talking with Brian and I read this in an article, he needed to do something because the Beatles were, you know, making such an impact, and he got the guys together and said we have to respond to the Beatles, and he did. I Get Around specifically to not dampen their impact, of course, but to show that they were competitive in a artistic
Mhm.
way. And so, in a rare interview back in the day before everybody got technical with uh, iPhones and all of this stuff, a lot of the AM and FM radio disc jockeys would do on-air interviews. So my researcher got hold of all of those interviews with all the guys, mostly Brian, and transcribed them. And in my vault, I have these interviews, audio only, of the most intimate things that Brian talks about, uh, including the inspiration for songs and how it happened, because he was not on guard with the camera and he was just speaking with a friend. And it's quite extraordinary. Those transcriptions, and the various radio personalities would send me those audio cassettes so we could transcribe them.
wow.
I don't even think I mentioned this to Brian. It's almost you could do the Brian Wilson never before heard audio tapes.
What do I need to do to get my hands on those?
As they would say in
Graffiti,
Hollywood,
clear one.
let's talk about it.
Okay.
You'll
That
have to
would be
come out
amazing.
here and they're in my vault, and they're in giant 3-ring notebooks that
Mhm.
you know, there was a couple of great stations in New York, and just when FM was kicking in, KSAN and WBAI, I think. So the indulgence was that you got on the FM where everything was opening up, and they were exploring creators of music and the individuals behind them. It was a coup to have tomorrow night, Brian Wilson for a full hour we'll talk about. And that's what comprised them. You know, I have an inventory of them, but I decided it would be too difficult to use these interviews that were not related to the film elements in the film. I used some interviews in voiceover that when Brian's on camera, he's sort of narrating or providing the voiceover. In particular, when he's playing at that piano after he does Surfs Up. In fact, there's an amusing story to that. The footage I got was MOS or silent. My girlfriend is a professional rock and roll pianist and has toured with James Taylor and Neil Young. She sat down, saw the footage, and figured out by fingering what Brian was playing. So, so there's a track behind it. You recognize him. He's in the same shirt that he did Surfs Up, but it's a different angle, and he's at that piano. So, you know, this is kind of interesting. So when I ran part of the movie for Brian, he said, "You know, I didn't think we had audio on that." So she sort of matched the way he played. It was kind of an unknown fact about Beach Boys, an American band.
Wow. So was that also while Brian was singing, or was that just the portion where it's
No,
just?
it's him, MOS at the piano. He's just fingering, and then
Oh, okay.
and
Gotcha.
Peggy figured out what it was. You know, it
Wow.
was an outtake. It was actually one of the outtakes from Inside Pop, the rock revolution in '67, of which Surfs Up came from. And you know the story how we managed to remove the voice of God narration that was screwing up the whole thing. And that's why in the movie it plays clean. And this sort of not alternate take, but an outtake for an insert shot was never used in the special, but that's where he's fingering. You can see it in the movie right after he does Surfs Up, or in that neighborhood.
Yeah. Yeah.
So listen, I've got to run here a little, so I don't know. If you have any other questions, Tom, I'd be happy to give you my view on things.
That'd be one tape I like to listen to.
Well, it's in the movie.
Yeah, okay. Well, like I said, I get back. I'll get online tomorrow and watch it. I like if I knew you was
And
off.
it's referred to in detail in David's interview that's in that edition.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
My girlfriend got dinner on the table. If I could be of further assistance, David, Tom, if you have any questions.
No, Tom, Malcolm, thank you, you know, for your time. I greatly appreciate it. It was nice for you
My
to stop.
pleasure.
It was
My pleasure.
nice meeting you.
Thank you, Tom, and
Thank you.
catch a wave.
There's that.
Bye-bye.
They have so. I think he touched a little bit on the interview in this edition about how much stuff they had to work from, and that he actually had accumulated some stuff from doing a couple of specials prior to the documentary, because one was all about rock and roll, the history of rock and roll. So he had some Beach Boys footage from that, and it's just amazing the stuff that he's got, or you know, that he's told us about. But I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to walk into that warehouse, because he doesn't just have Beach Boy stuff. He's got stuff. You know, he's got his music history,
Yeah.
and yeah, just it's crazy.
I guess I need
So,
to read it
uh,
again.
so what you were showing? Man, you're so is that your man cave right there? Is that? I mean, it kind of
This
looks
is
like.
what I call my music room,
Mhm.
which I like when my wife tells me go to your room because I can stay in here all night.
Oh, look at that!
Doesn't bother me at all. But it's wall to wall music,
It
uh,
sure is. Look at wow!
every direction.
I love the photo the poster you have on the door, the '70s poster.
Yeah,
Yeah, I like the one underneath too, but the I like that one up top. Is that from the In Concert album?
you all right?
Yes, I hurt my foot.
She is tripped. She's all right.
Yeah.
Good.
Sorry about that.
But yeah,
And what's your prized possession of all the stuff that you have collectible that you've collected through the years? What's your prized possession?
wow.
Cocoa water?
Well, it has to be one of my favorite songs, "Cool Cool Water Forever," and I have it on the 45, one of their most rarest records they have, and it's the tan label. It's not
Oh, with the
the
little steamboat, you mean? With the
yeah,
little.
it's not the Steamboat. It's the other one. The
Oh, okay.
Steamboat, I can't find it. I've been looking for that thing for 20 years, and but the prices are $600-700 for that.
Oh, God.
But I promise I will get it one day.
Mm.
But that's one of them.
You mentioned the. I'm going to jump around here on you a little bit. Did you get when you got the coloring book, which you have? Did you get the bundle?
I got the whole thing. I got
Okay, so then
the
you know
cereal box, the
yeah.
mug.
Did you notice the ingredients to the cereal box are 100% harmony?
But the only thing I wish is I wish they had the crayons to go with it. You know, the Brian.
Yeah, I've got marker. Yeah, they
The
should have
Brian.
Beach Boy
You know,
crayons or something.
there's the badges.
Yeah, yep. You got them all.
Yeah.
Then you got the stickers, the mug.
Yeah, I got it all. I ordered it when it first came available, and I just got it the other day. But
Right.
I had to check on it, and they said it was delivered. It was shipped.
Yeah.
But I finally got it. I'm happy. It's pretty neat.
The ingredients is awesome.
The ingredients are crazy. I have to look at it again, but
It's funny. I thought that was so funny.
I just wish they sent the Crayolas with it. For each of one of the.
Oh,
beach.
come on. You can go out and buy your own Crayolas.
No, but it doesn't have Brian and Carl and Dennis. You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
my son Ethan's got markers, and I've yet to sit down with him and color a page, but I want to. He started coloring one a couple of weeks ago with the striped shirts. One of the ones that they had the striped shirts on, he started coloring it. So I want to work with him on that.
I don't know if I want to color it or not.
No.
I might get one just to color that. I might
Well,
give it
there
to
you go.
grandkids.
I mean, do you have any grandkids?
Yeah, I have three.
Well, there you go. That's a
And
perfect Christmas
one of
gift.
my
Christmas is
my
coming.
grandsons has met the Beach Boy. I met Bruce.
And how old is he?
He's 17 now,
might
but
like
when he met him, where's that picture? Oh,
Yeah.
Get
I'm gonna
the
show
one
you.
with Jaden.
Oh, look at that. Great picture. Yeah, I remember you posting that on Facebook. Those are great photos. He might, now is he the youngest of your grandchildren?
No, he's the oldest.
He's the oldest, so you have younger grandchildren. Do you have younger grandsons?
Yes.
Well, that might make the coloring book might make a great Christmas gift. Considering their grandfather's as into the Beach Boys as he is. Wow, look at all this stuff. What is the? Oh, yeah, I've got those. Of course, I went and took them out. Those were released many years ago, and I just took them out and put them on a shelf. I wasn't thinking about them from the collector's standpoint. I'm bad that way. When I get something, if I really like it, I just open it up and put it somewhere. Wow, look at this. Yes. Oh, neat. I love that. Oh, yeah, go down the right side here. Look at all this stuff. Yeah, keep going. Wow. My goodness. There you go, the VIP pet. Yep, yep. Oh, John Lennon Funko.
Mhm.
Amazing. Look at all this. Here, when you come back around, well, yeah, keep showing me, and then I have a couple pieces I'm going to show you.
Okay, that's good.
Great stuff. Absolutely love it. Yeah, I got all those. Yep, and you got. I'm sure you got the big ones too. The surfer.
They're over
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Those were so cool. And all those 45s up there, huh? Look at that. 60s, 70s, 70s, 2000s, solo Beach Boys. Wow. Then he's got it broken down from out of the country. Look out. You are
I got the
serious.
world.
You are a serious collector. Yep, there they are. Wow. Man, oh man. Jeez. I love it. I love it. This is great. You have way more than I do.
I got Bruce to sign that for me.
That's cool too. That's super cool.
You were talking about this the other day.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. You still got it in the thing. Yeah.
Yes.
I've got the cardboard and I've got the little plastic, but of course the cassette.
Still intact.
That's impressive. And then you got the quilt. Love the quilt. My gosh. Wow. And I love that you're as big a Beatle fan as you are Beach Boys. I love it. That's great.
Oh, and your Paul Revere.
God.
Paul Revere, another great 60s group. Produced by Terry Melcher, I'll add.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Wow.
Got to meet him.
Yeah, I've seen photos of you wearing that yellow hat.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, I've just got a couple of things. I mean, I have nothing that impressive, but I just was going to show you a couple of things. I'm curious to know if you own. And I don't. And for the life of me, I don't remember where I got this, but I don't think I bought it on eBay or anything. I think I got it when it first came out, but I honestly don't remember. But I framed it.
Wow. Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's cool.
Wow.
And then I have this. Not many people I know have this, but I wouldn't be surprised if you had it. That's a bumper sticker.
Oh my
I got the other
goodness.
one.
Right there.
I have the Endless Harmony one too. Oh, okay. I've never seen that. What year does that say on the front of it? Look in the fine print down there.
This is the Beach Boy fan club.
Oh, okay. It's a fan
But
club.
I was in the Beach Boy fan club,
Oh, okay.
which we also got the calendar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That's 2000.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's very cool.
Also was in the Al Jardine fan club, the Brian Wilson fan club, the Mike Love fan club.
You know who put all the Al Jardine fan club stuff together, don't you?
Well, it was, matter of fact, I think it was you. Really?
Oh my
That's-
gosh, really?
That goes back to 2001 or 2, right?
Yeah.
You got the fan club card. It was the size of a business card. It was Al holding his surfboard. And you got a photo of Al and a postcard of Al from 1970 and a PT Cruiser poster, right?
Right.
Yeah.
I got the
That's yours truly.
I got the 8x10 that Al signed. Or I
Yeah,
guess
holding the surfboard, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And, I got the packet around here somewhere, but
Oh no, that's okay. That's okay. Oh no, that's nice. That's the vinyl, the record
Yeah.
store today.
the
Very
blue
cool.
vinyl that he signed.
Very cool.
And oh shoot. Also have that,
Oh well,
of course. I'm a Jan and Dean fan too, so I
I
saw
was a
them
Jan and
the
Dean
first
first.
time.
What year?
Where's that book at? In 1998.
Wow. And where
They
was
were
it?
with Jan and Dean. It's
Oh,
a
I
Living
saw that tour.
Feelings
I saw
concert.
that tour. I saw them earlier.
Yeah, it was Three Dog Night,
Okay.
Jan and Dean,
I saw it was
and
called The Love and Feel.
America,
Hmm.
Ronnie Spector.
Wow. You got
Yeah,
to see a better show than I did. I saw that in the fall of '97. It was also called The Love and Feeling
yeah. But
Tour.
that was a great show.
And
I
it
was
had,
really impressed. I mean, I remember Dead Man's Curve, the movie,
Mhm. Oh, that's how I
Uh,
got turned on to them.
of
Yeah.
course, that's one reason we went to see that show because of Jan and Dean. Yeah, because I never saw him other than that. But but
Was Jan sitting in a chair throughout the concert at that point?
no, he was moving
Okay.
slowly, but he was moving. I mean, he didn't.
Yeah.
You could tell he went through
Okay.
a rough time. But
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah,
uh,
the show I had seen was with Johnny Rivers and oh, sitting on the dock of a bay. Otis Redding.
uh, Otis
I
Redding.
think that I think those were the two acts with Jan and Dean, if I'm remembering correctly. But it's been so long ago. But that was like in Florence, South Carolina, in I want to say November of '97. So I guess they just changed the artist lineup as they kept that tour going because
Yeah,
you had a much more the way you saw was a much more impressive lineup, I think.
yeah, that was in Houston at the Summit.
Oh,
The
okay.
first place I saw the Beach Boys was in the Summit, and that was 1981.
Oh, I
That
bet
was
you've got lots of great memories then going there.
that was before Carl left, which I didn't even know he was leaving, but
Uh-huh.
took his vacation, is what I
Yeah.
call it. And as far as I know, all
His
six Beach
vacation,
Boys were
his
there.
vacation from the Beach Boys.
you know, I know my wife probably wish I'd take a vacation.
Well, she doesn't seem to mind too much. She was kind enough to show me
Oh,
all your stuff.
she
So
she she enjoys as much as I do.
good,
And
good, good, good. I'm so glad.
I
Uh,
hope so.
man, oh man, you have got. Phew. Now Lee Dempsey, as you might imagine, has a very impressive collection, but I've never seen. I'm curious now if he's got his collection of his records broken down into different boxes the way that you do, because if I have imports, again, because my collection is not nearly as extensive as yours, I just put my records in chronological order, regardless of where they were released.
Have you ever
Oh yeah,
seen?
yep, I've got that.
When
Yeah.
I got that, that's when I started
Okay,
around the world.
I
Uh,
see. That's a great.
First I got, which I showed you already. That's the American all the American records
Mm-hmm.
and so forth. I thought I had everything, but I found that I didn't after I got this book. But yeah. But anyway, I'm a serious collector. Probably maybe a little bit too serious. I don't know.
Well,
But
if
I
you have,
also get the solo Beatles, our Beach Boys. I don't know why I said Beatles for, but I got Bruce very first single, Over the Pearl. And I got a lot of his that he matter of fact, you were talking about his record label.
the Johnston record, that's right, in the latest issue, the Johnston record label. That I knew about it, but it had been so long since I can't remember how in the past 20 to 30 years or whatever it was that I remembered.
There's the Peter Noon.
Oh my gosh, look at that. Okay, so Tom, you have to write me a letter to the editor and send us a picture of that to go with your letter to the editor so I can include it. I love this
Peter
stuff.
Noon's album.
Love it. So do you have other Johnston label releases other than Peter's?
Well, that other one is
Because he did a few things.
Yeah, it's Susan Lynn.
Lynch, Office Love.
Yeah, there's one more actually. That I
Office
got it.
Love. Wonder why
Uh,
people don't know about that release. Office Love. That's
I got a lot of the Dennis Wilson's 45s from France and all of
Cool.
them.
So then you have the sound. Do you have the Sound of Free Lady?
Yeah, I have one of them, but I don't have the other.
Okay.
There's two, and I have one of them.
With the picture
And
sleeve.
I don't have it's the
Oh,
picture
okay.
sleeve, but it's yellow.
Oh, okay. I
It's
got
from
you.
France.
That's right. The other one that's blue or something, right?
Yeah, and it's got a picture. And of course,
Yeah.
Dennis is one I don't have much of other than his records, which
Sometimes that's all
it's
you
better than
need.
nothing.
That's right. You know,
You know,
that's
I know when I first time I saw him, Dennis was there, so I remember that part.
Mhm.
But at least I saw him once. That's how I look at it. You know,
That's
I've
right.
seen Carl, I don't know how many times. Last time was in '97 at the Woodlands. They were with Chicago.
yeah.
He was sitting down for that
This,
show.
this
Yeah.
photo up here is from June of '97 with Chicago,
Yeah,
and he sat sometimes.
yeah,
Mhm.
But this is we had a photographer with us, and that is him wearing the wig. But it's the last time I ever saw Carl.
yeah. That was the last
Last
time
time
I
I ever
saw
saw
him.
him. So that's why I
Yeah,
have that photo up there.
yeah.
Here, I'll show you something. Here, it's Carl's that I just kind of made myself. It's a shadow box. I went to the store and bought one of these shadow boxes, and um, so in it is the Beach Boys.
Oh yeah, I got that pin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the pin.
I have
And
it
then
there.
here's the Carl Wilson pin that I'm pretty sure Margaret Dottle had made. And then there's the background photo is that photo up there. That's the shirt you see in the background. And then here's the guitar pick, Carl's guitar pick. Yep, there it is.
Oh man.
Yep.
So there's Carl's guitar pick, and then here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but this is a photo of Carl with Bruce behind him.
Yeah.
It was
Oh.
actually I cut out from a photo that I was in with Carl. So it was me, Carl, and Bruce walking, photo bombing us, walking between us. And so,
No.
um,
Oh,
so
I
that's
God.
got a car up there.
That would have been cool.
Wow.
yeah. So this is my
Oh,
this is my little shadow box.
That's
oh,
cool.
I love that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's
That is cool.
well, you get to see Carl in concert, and the guy who sent me the Carl's guitar pick was Richie Canada. It was after Carl passed, and Richie had gone into the Beach Boys warehouse or wherever they keep their travel stuff, and he had to pick up some equipment or something. So he grabbed the guitar pick, and one of the neat things that Richie told me, he said when he went into it was weird because, and this was not long after Carl had passed, like in the same calendar year.
Yeah.
He said it was so strange when he went into the warehouse because you could smell Carl.
Mm. That was a very sad day for me.
Me too.
I was listening to Pet Sounds, the box set, because I listen to music and watch TV the same time, and I saw it on the news that Carl passed, and I was listening to Pet Sounds.
You already had it on?
Yeah, I was listening to the box set,
Oh, no kidding.
and then when I saw it on the news, I just almost. You can ask my wife. I was in shock, and that was a very sad day for me because I already enjoy Carl.
Yeah. Do you think of him a lot?
Yeah,
Me too.
he was the heart. I mean, he's the heart of the Beach Boys, and
Yeah.
I don't care what anybody else says.
Well, I don't think well, so other people may use different superlatives or words to describe him, but I think that's always been the general consensus that he was some would say the glue, some would say the soul, they would just all use different, but they all, I think, have the same intention behind them. I think it's
Yeah.
all that everyone agrees that Carl really was such a lovely guy. And even Malcolm was talking about it a little bit ago. He was talking about his camera wasn't working. And Carl was like, Malcolm, it's okay. Relax.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. It'll all work out in the end.
I'll read that again.
Everything's fine. So yeah, he's a rare. He was now. Did you meet him? Did you meet Carl?
No, I have never met Carl,
Oh,
and that's one regret. I wish I got VIP back then.
yeah. But,
That,
it's just know that It's gosh, I don't want to say anything to you like, oh, don't regret it or anything like that. Oh no, that's not. Look at that. That's a rarity too. Wow. I would just say that pull up, pull a little bit back. Go. Okay, there you go. Yeah, and it doesn't expire. How nice. It's a
Well,
lifelong membership.
I do want to say one thing before we run out of time.
Please.
A lot of my collection came from Brad Elliott
Okay.
from Surfs Up Collectibles.
Yeah.
He was selling a large Beach Boy collection. I believe it was the Rum collection. I believe it was called.
Peter
And I
Real.
got, yeah, I believe it was.
Okay.
But he was selling it, and I bought a lot of it from him.
Hmm.
And he just sold Cool Water like a few days before. But, and it really that blew my mind. But I've been looking for that record. Now I'm gonna get it one day. I'm determined.
I believe you. You have an incredible collection. And what do you listen to the most when you get in the room there? And what's kind of your go-to that you like to by the Beach Boys that you really like to put on and revisit?
Surfs Up, Sailor, I love it. Sunflower, of course.
Yeah, he really, yeah.
Yeah, I got all the box sets.
Mhm.
You know, Phil Flows. I listened to that one so long I probably wore it out.
Great, it's a great box, that's for sure.
Yeah, and everybody always puts down Summer in Paradise. I can't do it. I even got the vinyl from
So do
Korea.
I. So do I.
Yeah, I got it. I don't remember what I paid for it because my wife's standing in front of me, and I'm not gonna say it. Yes, I have that. And
I got that. So yeah,
I got that. I got that the day it was released. I was waiting for
I
it.
have to show you this. Let's see if I can turn my computer so you can see this on the wall. Let's keep going. Keep going.
Yep, there it is.
I like
That went with the album, right?
No, this was a separate.
Okay.
No, you're thinking of the little fold out one. That's
yeah,
a whole wall. That's as big as this one. That's
that
as
was
big
in the
as this.
CD. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why everybody puts that album down
Well,
other than
I
maybe
understand.
Brian's not in it.
There's at least two factors. One factor is that Brian wasn't involved. That's one factor. Another factor is that, and this is just so unusual because Terry Melcher was a good producer.
Yeah.
But he and Keith Wessler, the engineer for the album, discovered Pro Tools, and they were one of the first producers. Terry was one of the first producers to use it, and he used it on that album. And unfortunately, and I like Summer of Paradise album, and I like the Beach Boys '85 album, and I listened to them quite a bit when they were released, and I wore the '85 album out. I listened to it all the time. I've never thought of it as underappreciated. I've never thought. Now I'm aware that there's differing opinions about the Summer in Paradise album because that kind of that tends to come up more often. But I think what's wrong with that Summer in Paradise album is the Pro Tools usage and the instrumentation is mostly synthesizer and stuff like that and fake and program drumming, which is kind of what they ran into on the '85 album. And I think both releases would have benefited greater had they had a real drummer on the tracks. And I think it would have made a difference. I don't know if the Beach Boys' perspective was let's not put a drummer on it because you can't replace Dennis. I don't know one way or the other, but that would be an understandable response, and that would be an understandable way for them to approach it for that reason. Let's just go ahead and put machine drums on this because you can't replace Dennis Wilson. So that would be fair, but I don't know if that's the reasoning. But I think the Summer in Paradise album suffers, technically speaking, from that programming. And I really, really loved it. To this day, I would love for it to be re-released with actual instruments, and I think it would
Yeah.
sound so much better. Just there, you know, I've talked about this in several Zooms, in fact, so I'll mention it here. When I listen to Lahaina Aloha, I might get choked up. We're talking about Carl. And when I hear him sing, you know I wanna, but I can't stay. When I hear that line, it makes me, it's like, obviously, when he sang that in 91, 92, there was no cancer diagnosis. But when I hear him sing that lyric, you know I wanna, but I can't stay. Um, I feel his absence. It reminds me of his passing. Um, and it's like, and it's just it's just so profound, those lyrics, which have nothing to do with him having cancer. When I hear them, it reminds me of him passing on, from our
Yeah.
world, but musically staying with us always, but physically leaving. And so yeah, when I hear those lyrics, I always kind of get a little misty-eyed or choked up, because it's just, he was he was just such, he wasn't only a lovely man, he had an incredible voice.
You say that again.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, Summer in Paradise, I'm right there with you. I really enjoy listening to Strange Things Happen. Lahaina Aloha. I like Bruce and Al singing their song together. Oh gosh, the Slow Summer Dancing, One Summer Night. I like that. Um, and I like the UK version, and I'm sure you have it because of your collection.
CD. Yes.
The UK release of Island Fever, I think, is better than the US version. It's got more of the mystical forest sound effects and birds and everything in the beginning, and it just sounds like the perfect follow up to Kokomo. It sounds like a cousin to it. It's just perfect. And the UK version of Island Fever, if you look at the cover artwork of Summer in Paradise, that song, Island Fever, I feel perfectly fits and is suited to that cover artwork. I'm surprised it wasn't released as a single, because I think it would have served the album. That's the beautiful thing about the Beach Boys catalog to me. There's so many different styles of music. You can listen to one album that's rhythm and blues. You can listen to another album that's kind of considered psychedelic. You can listen to another album that's just pure pop fun. You can listen to another album that's folky. You can listen to another album that's almost jazz. You can, or you can listen to an album that has jazz and folk and pop all in one collection. And it's just amazing that they have all those kind of collective resources and influences that they each brought to the table that makes them so interesting. So I've always, Brian is not on Summer in Paradise, but you choose any album and I'll tell you, I look at every album from what do I like about it. I don't think of albums in the way of what don't I like about this. I'm not going to listen to this because I don't like it. I never think of albums that way. It's what do I enjoy about this? So if you said MIU, do you like MIU?
I like all of them. I
Yeah.
mean, there's something good about every one of their albums. There's
Yeah.
at least one song I like a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Then it goes down the line. I mean, used to Friends was my least favorite, not anymore, since I started listening to it more.
Mm-hmm.
But today I was listening to 1985, and because I saw you were on. I was watching one of yours that you just made, and you were talking about 85, the CD,
Okay.
the double CD.
Was that with Steve Lewis or Giggins?
I believe it was Giggins.
Okay. Yeah.
But anyway, I was listening to both. I listened to both sides, the whole CD, and
yeah, it's just
I mean, I'm getting a little choked up myself. But to get back to Carl, I have a hard time listening to his CDs or his albums. I got both. I even got the brothers.
In what respect do you mean hard time?
I have a hard time listening to him sometimes.
Because he's gone, or
yeah, it
okay.
just makes me think of, such a loss, and I don't know. It's just like listening to John Lennon sometimes. I have a hard time listening to it because he was my favorite Beatle, you know.
Okay. Yeah, McCartney tends to be, has tended to be mine, and maybe that's just because Paul's just been going all these years. But there is no getting around the quality and meaningful value behind some of Lennon's compositions. I mean, there's just there isn't. So see, that's another thing. David Marks and I, years and years ago, probably I'm going to get the year wrong, but early 2000s, we were sitting talking. And we got talking about the Beatles, and we got into that discussion that everybody kind of gets. Most people seem to get into: who is better? Do you like him? Who do you like more? And I say this not just with Lennon and McCartney, but also Brian and Mike, or Brian and Van Dyke Parks, or Brian and Tony Asher, or any great songwriting team, and that could be even people who wrote for other artists, like like Cynthia Mann and gosh, I'm forgetting the other name. Oh, that's not the Gershwin brothers. You know, anything. You know, there's so many great artists out there who would write for others, or they would write for themselves. And I'm not one to compare. I'm not one to say, oh, this one's better, because I can't tell somebody else what they should enjoy. You know what I mean? So you know, what you enjoy is important to you, and that has great value, and that there is no, if you listen to Summer in Paradise and you get enjoyment out of that, then that's all there is to know. I often joke, so I do have this kind of Carl Wilson standard, which is, if Carl wasn't involved, that's all I needed to know. And I think I even did that on the Giggins video, because we were talking about Wipeout, and then Carl wasn't in the video, but they had him on the beach ball. But he wasn't in the video, and granted, that video is fun. It does what it's intended to do, and the guys are being silly in it and having fun, and that's the point of it. But Carl wasn't involved, and that's kind of all I needed to know. You know, I said, okay, Carl's not involved. I watched it. I thought, okay, I get it. It's in a movie. I think it was in The Disorderlies. So it was, again, it was, that's when Melcher was kind of involved, and they went into that soundtrack mode where they were just doing soundtrack song after soundtrack song after soundtrack song. And, you know, even Problem Child, I enjoy. It's a corny movie.
I have the soundtrack album for a lot of the soundtrack songs are on it.
Now, what's your favorite Beach Boy soundtrack recording?
Oh, come on.
You didn't know there was going to be a quiz. Come on. I've got mine, but I want you to go first.
Oh, hey. Man.
Oh, while you're thinking about it, I do want to tell you something I didn't have a chance to tell you. In this envelope is a word. It's an everyday word that I wrote. And if you happen to say it during the Zoom, then you're going to get a highly collectible that I know you don't have in your collection. So it's in the envelope, and I got it's not an original idea. I got this idea from Groucho Marx's You Bet Your Life.
Oh, wow.
Remember that they said a word, the little duck would drop down, and then holding the word, and then they would get something. I think they got money or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd be 70. I'd be 70 in November. So yeah, I remember all them old shows.
Okay. I'm a huge Marx Brothers fan. I think Groucho's birthday was yesterday. But so favorite soundtrack recording by the Beach Boys. That's not, yeah, sure, it's a part of an album soundtrack, but it's not on any of their albums. Like, now, and Kokomo counts if you want to say Kokomo. I know it ended up.
Well, I was just fixing to say Kokomo, but we can make it a little harder.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. If you had to remove Kokomo, what would you go with?
Problem Child or no?
I'm gonna go with "It's a Beautiful Day" from Americathon.
Yeah.
I just love that song, and that. Have you ever watched that movie?
I probably have.
That's a crazy movie. John Ritter plays Chet Roosevelt. He's a several generations removed from Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and it's got Harvey Korman in it. And since you're about 70, you know who Harvey Korman is. He's great.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
a comic master.
Oh, most definitely I know who he is. Carol Burnett show, and
Yes. Oh my gosh,
oh yeah,
I miss that show. I grew up watching that, and I just absolutely loved Carol Burnett.
yeah.
Loved it. So okay, so not pro. Let's go back. So if you had to choose from, let me see. It's a Beautiful Day, Chasing the Sky, Still Cruising, Kokomo, Happy Endings, Wipeout. What else? There's got to be a couple I'm forgetting. Make It Big from Trip Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
Still Cruising. Oh, Let's Go to Heaven in My Car. You can throw that one in there if you want.
That's more Brian, right?
Yeah, that's Brian solo. Yeah, that's from Police Academy 4.
How about Love and Mercy?
Is that in it? Okay, that counts.
That's
Okay,
Brian's movie. I mean,
that's right. That's a good one. That's a really good one. That's
Still
an-
Cruising is a good one. Got
I-
me thinking.
I liked that one a lot because I really enjoyed. I went and saw the Lethal Weapon 2 in the theaters, and I don't remember for the life of me because that's 1989. It's a while ago. I don't remember if the soundtrack had come out by that, but I do recall knowing that song was in that movie when I went, and I remember the scene very vividly because Mel Gibson's character is in his trailer down on the beach, and he's got his transistor radio on, and he's in the trailer with his dog, and then the helicopter comes flying. The bad guys in the helicopter come flying and shoot up his trailer while Still Cruising is playing on the transistor radio. So I remember it was well placed. I still remember that very well, and I don't know why I remember that, but I do remember it. So, it's just one of those. It's just well placed.